It's a part of human nature. Insecurity is a part of human nature. And it's one thing that you have that bonds you with the people at this table. It's the one thing that you have that bonds you with your mentors. It's the one thing that you have that bonds you with that asshole, you know, that 45% of the individuals that are acting like jerks. The one thing that you have that bonds you with them, it's just that they're reacting to their insecurity in a very different way. It's a part of humanity. Your success, your ultimate contingent success, is if the CEO of your company feels intimate enough with you that the two of you are capable of having a conversation at some point about your true beliefs, feelings, passions, dreams, struggles, and insecurities. Now, let me pause for a moment. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel about who I am, me, Keith Ferrazzi, now, compared to, you know, how you might have felt? And I'll give you one more thing. I still struggle to this very day. I mean, I say that I've got this great company and blah, blah, blah. All that's true, but I still struggle because part of my familiar behavior is struggling. We teach a lot of people how to identify the behaviors that are getting in your way of success. There's a book you should put on your list by a gentleman by the name of Mark Goulston, Dr. Mark Goulston. And he's one of my business partners. And he wrote a book, he wrote two books. One's called Get Out of Your Own Way, and the other one's Get Out of Your Own Way at Work. And the point is that you have behaviors in yourself that are stopping you from being a success. You're either conflict avoidant, you may have a temper, you may be, you know, afraid of showing your insecurities. There may be all these different things that you have that may be making it difficult for you to succeed. Diagnosing those early and admitting them to yourself is so powerful and important, because there was a Supreme Court justice by the name of Justice Bryant who said that transparency, you know, he's really talking about transparency. He said sunlight is the greatest disinfectant ever. Meaning, when you take the stuff that's eating at you inside and you put it out there on the table, it no longer controls you. When I said to you I was insecure about being a rich, being a poor kid in a rich environment, that, I can't tell you, when I was your age, I could have never even said that I grew up poor. I was too embarrassed of it. And it controlled me and it ate me. But when you put that kind of stuff out in the open, it no longer controls you. I mean, it's like when an alcoholic walks into a room and says, "Hi, I'm Joe, I'm an alcoholic." 50% of their accomplishment is right there. They've been able to identify the problem. So your capacity to identify those issues and put them out there is very powerful. Do that with your mentors. I was about to use the example of Jamie Dimon earlier than this. I mean, I always think of Jamie Dimon as such a perfect example. Does anybody know who Jamie Dimon is? Anybody? Want to explain who Jamie Dimon is? Right. And, what do you think? Does anybody in here want to take a stab at, was there a single individual who was very instrumental in Jamie Dimon's early success? Who's that? Sandy Weil. Sandy Weil was Jamie Dimon's mentor. And one would argue that Sandy Weil truly brought Jamie Dimon up through the organization with enormous and immense success. Do you think Jamie Dimon was the absolute most talented individual in the banks that he was participating in? Was he, no, that's not the fact. The fact is, he had a powerful mentor who cared about his success and trusted him as a loyal individual. When I first, and this is a great story, it's important to tell. I'm going all over the place, by the way. I've sort of deviated totally from my script. But when I was anybody here in the MBA program? Everybody here's undergraduates, right? Okay. When I was a freshly minted MBA at Harvard Business School, I went to career development, and there was a job fair, all right? And you go around from booth to booth to booth to booth. And wait on, before I go there, remind me to tell you the story of, this is, remember I said there are two things that are fundamentally core to all great success: intimacy and generosity, relationship success. This is what we call the intimacy pyramid. You start out in the intimacy pyramid just by being friendly and genuine. And the importance of this is not what I was, I mean, I might have been kind of friendly, but I still had a swelled head. And in terms of being genuine, I was far from genuine. I was so insecure. I wasn't at all comfortable in my own shoes. You conquering your own personal comfort and confidence is the key to your success. And Mark Golston has something that he calls allowing yourself to exhale. Just do it for a second. Just deep breath. Come on, everybody, one more time. Next time you go into a cocktail party, next time you go into an event of some sort, or into an interview, do that a couple times in the hallway, because it just brings you down in a little more grounded fashion, just for a moment. Because you spend so much time spinning around in your heads, so much time up here, that, you know, I always think of this image of as a spinning top. You're going to explode. And what I want you to do is get to the stage where people feel comfortable with you. You got to feel comfortable with yourself. I think that therapy is something that is no longer frowned upon. Back in, you know, when I was a kid, therapy meant you're broken. I think today it's becoming more and more accepted. Think of it as a coach or a trainer. How many of you have ever had a physical trainer? You know, like a trainer. Yeah, I mean, I think of a therapist as nothing more than a mental trainer. Somebody to go to and experience and sort of, you know, work that muscle a little bit broader than what I'd normally be able to do. And it really does, it's helped me in becoming more genuine and shedding some of the insecurities that I had early. The next level up is developing intimacy by sharing your passions and excitements. What are you passionate about? This, by the way, God, this is the one thing that you have at your age that is so attractive to your mentors, so attractive to older people. It's like you should be bubbling with expectations about what you want to achieve in this world. And maybe it's the exploration of what you want to achieve, which, by the way, is equally as infectious. But passion in and of itself, which is what youth should have, passion is so exciting, and it's what we call a currency. You need to think about what is your currency, and we're going to go through it in a little bit. What is your currency as you're reaching out to the world? What can you give the world? Why does anybody want to hang out with you? Why does a mentor want to adopt you? You know, why does somebody want to care about you? What is your currency? Well, part of your currency is your capacity to show up and help other people to exhale. Just being the kind of person, you know that there are some people in this world that make other people comfortable? That's a currency. There are some people in this world whose passion is so exciting that people want to be around them. That's a currency. Next one is talking about your dreams and aspirations. Now, we're going to get into how you think about that a little bit, because I know many of you have dreams and aspirations that are a little ill-formed, and that's okay. But the one thing that I'm going to teach you today is pick something. Don't allow yourselves to meander without something that you can say to somebody, this is what I want to do. People are fine if 6 months later you come back and say, that's not what I want to do anymore. This is what I want to do. But in the last 6 months, you'll have made movement toward achieving that thing. I'll give you, for instance, when I was your age, I wanted to be President of the United States. I'm not kidding. I was going to be President of the United States. I had it mapped out. I had already ran for city council. I had moved to a district, a congressional district that I knew I could win. I had met all of the major players in, at that stage again, the Republican Party that I needed to meet. I was about to have an internship with the Vice President of the United States, who subsequently went on to be President George Bush Sr. And I was ready. I was ready. And guess what? I decided I was not going to be President of the United States, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the reasons why if you want, but I was not going to do that. I decided I wasn't going to get into politics. And after having mourned that whole process, I then decided I was going to be the CEO of a major corporation. Well, off to Harvard Business School. But I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford Harvard Business School. You know, coupled with the fact that I wanted to be in politics, I had gotten into some real estate development deals right out of Yale, and I was in debt of $200,000. $200,000 in debt, separate from my school loans, which, you know, I had to pay for myself as well. I was $200,000 in debt by the time I was 22, 3 years old, all right? And I couldn't afford HBS. Guess what? The people who were sponsoring me for my first congressional run came on and they helped me fund my debt while I was at Harvard Business School and lent me the money to go to HBS.